Okay, so what you guys are looking at right here is my 1995 Ford F-150 flatbed truck named Argo, and it's about to be my tow rig for my drift car. Drift car does not run yet. Truck kind of runs right now, but it leaks really badly from the coolanty radiator bit of the truck. And that's probably why I got this truck for 800 bucks. It's got about 170,000 miles on it. Again, straight six, and it's a stick with a flatbed. It used to be owned by this old welding shop here in town. I believe they specialize in fences, and it's been in a few wrecks. This side's messed up. This door is completely messed up. Both of the interior door handles are broken. I only got one set of keys for this thing. Oh, nope. That's the parking brake. I definitely want to keep that one on. Holy shit. Parking brake. That was scary. Want to keep the parking brake on. Holy fuck. Yeah, both the interior door handles are broken. It has no power windows, no power locks. It is supposed to have AC, but I still love this thing. So, current goal, pull this radiator out, which actually doesn't look too hard, hopefully, and put a new one in. So I've been looking at how to get this radiator out. Now, I've watched a few videos online, mostly YouTube, but from what I've seen, there's a couple different ways to pull this out. One way that I saw was, I believe it was a YouTube channel called TRQ, and ended up removing the fan and a bunch of other stuff to get the radiator out. I don't think I need to do that because I'm just going to remove the fan shroud off the radiator, back the fan up a little bit, unbolt the radiator, drain it, and pull it right out. And yes, all this rust you see on the inside of here is from the actual leaky coolant. The last owners, this welding shop, didn't really decide to maintain this vehicle, so they just kept putting coolant in it and water whenever it leaked. And it leaked a lot. So yeah, step one, drain the radiator. Also, this thing might need a new power steering pump. Side note, I think this thing shares a lot of parts with my Mustang and our van. They're all around the same time period of Ford engineering, which is awesome. But anyway, I'm gonna drain the coolant out of this thing. I'm pretty sure the drain is on the bottom. I'm gonna put a little catch pan under there and see what comes out of it. Okay, so you can actually access the radiator drain plug right down through here. I don't know if you can hear it. Oh shit, it's dripping on the wrong side. Damn it. Screw it, at least I'll get some of it on there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can just slide this thing right out, and that's what I'm going to try to do once it drains out a bit more. So what I'm going to do, once it's done draining, I'm going to disconnect the plugs, the hoses, and because I don't have what you would call... Okay, so now that I have messed up royally, wait, coolant is out, right? So, the fan shroud, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be held on by more than just two bolts, but mine clearly isn't. There's one bolt right here, one bolt right here. I pulled off this little coolant hose off the top of the radiator. Just gonna take it off, slide it back, take this bolt off here, and this bolt off here. Well, I'm gonna disconnect the hoses first. That's an important step. And then I think it might just come right out, actually. So this right here is my upper radiator hose. And I'm hoping this is going to be as easy as I think it's going to be. I probably shouldn't have said that, actually. Wow, okay, never mind. Maybe it is going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Wow, okay, that's awesome. I have to crawl underneath the car to get the other one. Okay, I just want to go over why I'm such a Ford fanboy real quick, because I realized just how much easier this job is than I expected. So this right here is the upper radiator hose, right? Accessible from the top, nothing special, that's pretty common. Now, down here, you can see the drain plug, which is also accessible from the top. You can touch the very bottom of the radiator from up here. So, you don't even need to take the radiator hose off to take the drain plug off, right? That right there is the lower radiator hose. Completely accessible from the top. My hand is on it with a firm grasp, and I'm holding everything, right? Ignore that. This right here is a radiator fan shroud. It's held on by two bolts. You take those bolts off, you lift it up, it comes off its two little locking tabs on the bottom of the radiator, and you can move it back. This radiator is held on by two bolts right here and right here. You take those two bolts off, provided you have the radiator hoses off, and in my case, since it's a manual, that's it. Take this hose off, and it slides right out, in theory. I'm about to see if that's true, and if this thing is actually that easy to pull off, I will have a whole new appreciation for old Ford, and I'll be even more depressed at what Ford has become now. Okay, so I just want to say something, right? Throughout this whole little job, I don't think I've had to go like I was supposed to go underneath the car once. So this Fairchild bolt was a 8mm. It came off and is currently hanging off the fan. Not a problem. Not worried about that at all. This is a 10mm to take the radiator. It's 2 bolts right here. And yeah, I'm currently having a little trouble locating my ratchet, but I don't think this will take that long to undo. So there's a 10mm here on this side and 10mm over here. The 2 radiator hoses are already off. This car is a stick shift, so it doesn't have the tranny cooler, even though I think the automatic and the manual use the exact same radiator, even with the integrated tranny cooler. But yeah, I think I can do this whole job without jacking the truck up. Okay, so my 4 bolts are out. My radiator flange tried to slid to the back. I'm going to see if I can just pull this thing out. Yep, there it is. Radiator out. I don't know why the other video made it look like you had to take the fan off and all that. You definitely don't have to. Oh shit. My dad's gonna kill me. The driveway is ruined. And there comes the radiator flange shroud. So here's a rubber holder thing for the radiator. Is there another one on this side? Yes, there is. Right over here. Way easier than I was expecting. I'm gonna see if I can just swap out the water pump while I'm here, because this is super quick. It looks like the belt tensioner pulley is right here. I could just take the tension off the belt, slide the hose off, and unbolt the water pump. It should take me like 20 minutes to put the new water pump on while I'm here. Okay, so now that the radiator and fan shroud assembly are off, I forgot that I literally ordered everything to rebuild this truck's cooling system, and it's just been sitting in my room for like the past 2 or 3 months. So I have the fan clutch, the water pump, both upper and lower radiator hoses, thermostat gasket, and thermostat. And I'm probably just going to install all of that actually, since it doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard to do all this stuff. So what I have right here is the serpentine belt tensioner. I'm going to remove tension off that, get the belt out of here, and get it off the water pump. Once that's off the water pump, looks like I just take the water pump off and I can separate the pulley and the fan clutch and just remount everything onto here. Then put the upper hose, and then up here is the thermostat housing. I can get to that. The lower hose is actually even more accessible once I pull the water pump off. Actually, I think it goes to the water pump. I can probably do it all at once. This is insane. Oh my god. Look, what's even more amazing is like I really don't need a special tool just to get off this belt tensioner. It's in such an easy location that I don't really even need my special serpentine belt tensioner or tension removal tool. It helps, yeah, but I think I could probably do this with a regular ratchet. So that's coming off right there, just like that, just like that, just like that. Now that's gonna go around the crank and come off just like that. Nice, nice. Maybe I'll put a new belt on it too, actually, since this one's kind of new, but it's a little rubbery or a little hard. Okay, so the water pump is actually only held on by 4 bolts, which makes this a lot easier than I was expecting. So 4 bolts here. Oh, I'll come back to you when this pump is off. It's 4 bolts. I'm sure you can figure it out. So I just pulled the water pump off. Came off a lot easier than I was expecting. Like everything on this truck, it's insane. So I pulled the 4 bolts out, right? And it's got this metal tube that goes up to here. I just pry it on that and whoop, pop right off. Just like that. I just gotta take off this upper heater core hose maybe, and then the whole thing just comes right out. And then I gotta take off the 4 bolts that hold the water pump pulley off. Actually, it might be a good thing I'm replacing the flange clutch too. Okay, so I've pretty much gotten the water pump out. Only thing that's holding it in at this point is this little hosey bit right here. So I'm gonna pull this one up and out of the way and get to that. And then pop that one off. Get this vacuum line off here. That'll make it a little bit easier. Oh, that was a mistake. That vacuum line gave up on life. That vacuum line was like, nope, not having that today. One of my favorite pliers in the world are these heater core hose pliers. I got them from Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks. They make everything so much easier. Just like that. Boom. Amazing little tool. It's got a little hooked end on it. Clips right on, pulls it right off. So I'll be able to pull everything off in one go, actually. So I was able to pull the fan clutch, the water pump, and the radiator hose all in one part. Okay, so since I have the water pump off right here, and I'm about to replace the thermostat gasket and all that, I thought I would take it off and just run a garden hose and do what's called a poor man's engine flush, I think, and just clean out all this rusty water. You can tell this motor's been left half empty for a good minute. That might have been me, actually, not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna blow as much clean water through here just to clean it out, and then put the thing back together and put coolant in it. Hopefully that should stop this from corroding, and also get the large chunks of rust out of here so it doesn't go into my nice new radiator. So this is a 2 1/2 bolts that'll pop the thermostat out, and this whole little unit, it's only being held on by the heater hose and this sensor. I'm not gonna be overly aggressive with it, and I'll get that out. What's funny is I'm really hoping that this isn't like a blown head gasket kind of brown coolant, and instead it's just rusty brown coolant. Whew, and good thing I'm replacing that thermostat too, god damn. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but that thing is rusty as shit. Look at that. Ooh, there's a lot of chunks in here, damn. You might have missed it, but while I was flushing the heater core, this thing came out so brown. Like, man, I wish I started recording from the beginning. But look at this. Look at what's coming out of the heater core. It's just straight brown water. So I must have flushed this thing out for nearly an hour. But now you can see the water that's coming out of the motor is finally clean. When it first came out, it was just like a brown, sludgy water. You can kind of see, but almost, no, it was way sludgier than that. But yeah, so what I did is I took the thermostat off right here, and then I put it back on, and I just blew water through it until it came out clean. And it's finally clean. I even blew out the heater core too, so hopefully things should be better. This might be the cleanest cooling system it's had in a minute. Okay, so what we have here is a freshly prepped and clean mating surface on the block, and same on the actual thermostat housing as well. I ended up using a roll-lock wheel on a angle grinder or die grinder to clean up the mating surface and get it nice and ready. Now, I do have a new thermostat, which is definitely going in there. I made sure to get out all the corrosion in the little lip that the thermostat goes in. And I also have a new Formoco gasket that I'm going to put on as well. I'm debating on where to put some of this sensor or this seal on there, just to be super sure, to make sure nothing actually fails. Okay, so full disclosure, I don't think you're actually supposed to use both the gasket and the sealer, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I don't want to come back here and I want this truck to be insanely, idiotically reliable. But I'm just going to use a tiny bit on here. Just going to lather it on with like a really tight little amount, and then just spread it with my finger. That should be fine. And then we'll let this cure for 24 hours. Okay, so up next we have the water pump assembly that's coming off the car, right? Now these bolts are the ones that hold the water pump to the actual truck itself. I can't get those off until I pull the water pump pulley off. So you can see there's small bolts right here that hold the pulley to the actual water pump. I'm going to remove those bolts and then use these bolts to put the new water pump on. And then I'm also replacing the fan clutch as well. Okay, so you probably hear the air compressor going in the background. That's because I've had to bust out the big guns to get this fan clutch off. It's actually being a massive pain in the ass. So I've got a special pneumatic tool I got from Harbor Freight called a pneumatic fan clutch wrench set. Got the air hammer and the air compressor. So the basic premise of this whole thing is this is a reverse threaded fan clutch bolt, right? So you go right to tighty, right? And as you can see, I probably should have done this when the fan clutch was on the car.
but a vise can fix that. So,
the idea is once
the air compressor has enough power, I'm going to put this in here and go, and it should come right out. Actually, let's try it now, see if it does it.
Okay, so quick little up to speed. It's been about a week since the last video was filmed and a bunch of stuff happened. The last clip you just saw was me trying to separate the fan clutch from the actual water pump pulley, fan clutch, and fan assembly. So my mistake there is I thought this was one of those like reverse threaded fan clutches, and it wasn't. So what ended up happening is while me and my dad are going full send on that fan clutch, we ended up stripping the holy crap out of it. So long story short, actually let me show you. It'll make more sense if I show you. So we had the fan clutch in this vise right here, and we ended up stripping it to the point where we weren't able to get the fan clutch off by turning it. So what ended up happening is we cut the fan clutch with an angle grinder and proceeded to beat the crap out of it until the bolted part of it was stuck on the water pump section. And then we proceeded to angle grind it and cut it off until we got everything off. The only actual parts that we were worried about saving was the water pump pulley and the actual radiator fan, which we did save those and we were able to reuse those. The water pump and the fan clutch, however, were a little lightly destroyed, but not a big deal. So back over here at Argo, you can see that we have the thermostat. The new thermostat is in here, that with a new thermostat gasket. The new water pump is on. You can see the shiny little water pump on there. The new water pump gasket, and the 4 bolts on there were torqued to 21 foot-pounds. We reused the same pulley on there, going to a new fan clutch. The pulley bolts are about 18 foot-pounds. The fan clutch right there to fan bolts are about the same. So these are all about hand-tight bolts. And then the fan clutch to water pump bolt should be self-tightening over time. So that I'm not overly worried about. But overall, this part was pretty easy to get back on. Everything just bolted in. The hoses just clipped back on. I did break this vacuum line, so I need to fix that. And I also put a new upper and lower radiator hose. Now, I'm currently in the process of putting the new radiator in, and we've come into a bit of an interesting predicament. So if you look right here, here's the old radiator, and you can see these 2 holes. They don't actually look like original holes, or maybe they are, who knows. But the new radiator doesn't have that. Problem is, the fan shroud needs those holes in order to clip in. So look, fan shroud clips in like this. Okay, so since here you can see where these holes should be in the radiator to allow the fan clutch to sit once it's properly clipped in, and that the old radiator has it, but for some reason the new one doesn't, that means I'm gonna make those new holes. Oh God, I hope I don't mess this up.
Good. Okay, good. Now go. Okay, go.
Now we put these little rubber bushings into the little radiator thing, and that.
Screw it here.
Yeah. So well, hold on. These have to go in here real quick.
Yeah.
And these stop the vibration from the radiator on this truck.
Good.
Yep, looks like it. Okay, so it's been about a week since you last saw this truck, and I've gotten everything in and I've been daily driving it. I should probably explain some complications because when it came to filming, your boy ran into some stuff. Okay, so in the end, I pretty much finished the install. Replaced the radiator, the fan clutch, water pump, thermostat housing, upper and lower radiator hoses, and the serpentine belt. And since you guys last saw this truck, it's been about maybe a week. I've been driving it around. I took it to work, got it smogged, and it passed smog better than some of the other cars there. Honestly speaking, this thing is amazing. It runs pretty smooth. There is a clunking coming from the left front, and I don't know if the AC works yet. But as far as an $800 truck, it's honestly great. I was gonna take it somewhere pretty and special, but the sun went down and the best I could do was a mall parking lot. Oh, there's the Strauss here. So pretty. But anyway, I do have a few concerns left on this truck. Number one is the fact that it does not have turn signals. I believe it's a multi-function switch because when I hit the hazard switch, the forward flashers come on. One of the rear tail lights is not wired up correctly. So what's happening is the right tail light works fine. So the brake and turn lights are wired up correctly. This one, however, they wire the brake light to the tail light and the tail light to the brake light. So it's always on bright as hell, and you can never tell when the brake light is actually illuminated. So this right here is the only one that actually works correctly. The high mounted stop is also having some issues, namely a burnt out socket. I already tried replacing the bulb, it didn't work. I might actually end up just getting those LED trailer lights, put them there and there, there and there, paint the bed black, and put 2 more up top, just like so. So I can actually have a decent looking back area. I do have some other smaller stuff to fix, like the mirrors, interior door handles, rekeying the truck. I went to the junkyard and actually got a whole door for this thing. So one thing I need to mention, when I was putting in the thermostat and tightening down the thermostat housing, I believe the thermostat housing gets torqued down, those 2 bolts, to 21 foot-pound. I torqued it down and the thermostat housing ended up cracking. I had to take the thermostat housing back off and replace it myself. Let's see. Ooh, I picked some really bad place lighting. Anyway, so the 2 thermostat housing bolts are just 2 bolts that hold on top. What had happened was the thermostat slipped out of its little retaining ring, and basically me tightening it down deformed the thermostat housing enough to break the thermostat housing. So I got a new one from AutoZone. Not the best quality part out there, but it's not leaking, so I'm pretty happy with it. If you guys like this little video series, hit like and subscribe. I'm definitely going to be posting a lot more about this truck. Now that it's running, I'm probably going to pivot more to finishing up the Volvo. I've got most of the Volvo video already filmed and ready to go. I just need to torque down the head bolts and put everything else back together, but that's literally almost done. And the Mustang only needs like a dipstick tube and a Hall effect sensor on the crank position sensor. That's literally it. Anyway, time to go home. I edit this video, get ready to get posted. Have a good one, guys.